Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Friday, the 6th day of March. This is CTV News. Tonight, here we go again. Another big jump at the pumps as world oil prices soar. Ensuring senior safety. The government pledges an investigation after a suspect arrested for sex assaults. And a published author, this 10-year-old from New Brunswick, just released his first book and has 4 more on the way.
Live from our Maritimers News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news, a developing story from the Fredericton area where a number of roads are closed this evening after a chemical spill. New Brunswick Hazard Watch says there's been a spill on the Vanier Highway and the Wilsey Road areas, resulting in the road closures on your screen there marked in red. Preliminary testing has detected traces of sodium carbonate, sodium hydroxide, and chromium, which could be harmful. The chromium spill was approximately 1,000 liters over about 14 kilometers. It's unclear tonight how all of this happened. Officials say anyone, though, who traveled between Fredericton and Oromocto yesterday or before 4 o'clock today might have inadvertently been exposed. Those people are being advised to avoid touching any visible residue on their vehicles, keeping pets and children away. If you do accidentally touch it, wash your hands for a full 15 minutes. And we should tell you, you can find more information on the Hazard Watch page of the New Brunswick government website under the Department of Emergency Preparedness. More pain at the pumps as we ease into the weekend. Diesel prices are expected to rise in a little while at midnight tonight in all 3 maritime provinces. This is the 3rd time this week, a direct result of the war in Iran. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness has the latest.
90% of the goods used by Maritimers touches a truck at some point. The cost of operating one continues to climb. In Nova Scotia, 17.5 cents have been added to the price of a liter of diesel since Wednesday.
A typical tractor trailer, can hold up to about 1,200 liters of fuel. So when we do see, these large spikes in prices, even 10 cents a liter, that's a significant increase in a fill-up.
Gas is up too. Now $1.52.7 in Nova Scotia, $1.50 even in New Brunswick, and a shocking $1.61.1 on Prince Edward Island. Diesel is over $2 a liter in all 3 provinces.
We haven't seen this type of increase since Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
These increases can be traced to the U.S.-Israeli-led war in Iran. And with ships being targeted in the Strait of Hormuz, petroleum prices will continue to climb.
Oil prices continue to skyrocket the longer this issue goes unaddressed. Every day it goes unaddressed, there's about 20 or 25 million barrels of oil that aren't making it into the marketplace.
As driving gets more expensive, the cost of air travel is expected to follow. Jet fuel spiked by 72% on the Asian markets today. Up to 35% of the cost of a flight is fuel.
There's talk this morning that on international flights, particularly on international flights, that there might be a fuel surcharge starting to show up on certain flights starting next week.
The price of a barrel of crude oil surpassed $90 today, and predictions are it could top $100 a barrel.
The rule of thumb usually is that $1 US a barrel is typically a penny a liter at the pump in Canada, in Atlantic Canada. So you can imagine, should the price of crude go up by, $25, $50, $60 a barrel, you can imagine the impact at the pump.
An impact we're already starting to see. Jonathan McGuinness, CTV News, Halifax.
Another significant data breach to tell you about in Nova Scotia tonight. Halifax Water says it's investigating unauthorized access to its customer care portal, which allows customers to view their accounts, make payments, etc. The news release we got says there's no indication financial information is at risk, but nevertheless, the utility has activated what it calls its incident response process and notified the police. Click on the online links. You'll find the pages are down with the notice saying they're under maintenance. Halifax Water says it will provide an update on Monday, but in the meantime, They're telling customers to be very careful with unsolicited texts, calls, or emails from Halifax Water. And this evening, Halifax Mayor Andy Fillmore weighed in, telling CTV News via email the breach did not impact any of the municipality's systems, and he and others will have questions about it when top executives appear before City Council in the weeks ahead to present Halifax Water's annual plan. The mayor also said, quote, "I've previously raised concerns about Halifax Water's operations, including financial health, governance, and capital planning, and I will be raising those issues at that same meeting."
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
5 men are now facing obstruction charges in connection with that shooting yesterday morning in the Burnside area of Dartmouth that sent a man to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Halifax police say 2 of the men charged were seen by an officer on Burnside Drive near Wright Avenue, apparently looking for something just hours after the incident. 3 other people were in a nearby vehicle that was parked in the shoulder of the road, including the victim of the shooting. During a search of the vehicle, a loaded firearm was seized. A second loaded firearm was located outside the vehicle, and it was seized as well. New Brunswick government pledging a hard look into safety at nursing homes in the province. This follows growing national outrage about the alleged sexual assault of 15 seniors at a care facility in St. John. Some of the victims were in their 90s. Here's CTV's Nick Moore.
The arrest this week of a 69-year-old man who is accused of sexually assaulting 15 seniors at a St. John nursing home is being followed across the country.
To my knowledge, this is the largest single case of sexual assault allegations at one facility by an individual.
St. John police say the man who was arrested is a family member of a resident at the nursing home and that the assaults allegedly happened between December 26, 2025 and January 19th. The alleged victims are between their 70s and 90s. Loch Lomond Villa in St. John confirms the arrest is connected to a report it made to police on January 21st, which prompted the investigation, and in a statement says the individual has not been permitted on Loch Lomond Villa property since the investigation began, and this restriction remains in effect. Vivian Stamatopoulos is in the Faculty of Social Science and Humanities at Ontario Tech University and is an expert in seniors care.
And I'm happy to see police involvement because unfortunately we've seen a broader national tendency of treating, frankly, many crimes that occur in long-term care facilities as mainly administrative rather than criminal.
For several weeks, the provincial government's official response was that it would not comment on an ongoing police matter. In a statement late this afternoon, the provincial government says it is now reviewing its policies and procedures, as well as safety and security procedures in individual nursing homes. This week, the official opposition has been calling for a security review of every long-term care facility in New Brunswick.
This should have been being worked on like the day after.
We have to do an audit so that the policies are common no matter where your residence is.
No timeline has been provided for the provincial government's review. The unnamed man who was arrested has been released on conditions and is scheduled to be in court May 26. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. John.
Access to parts of Province House in downtown Halifax are being limited for the time being. The Speaker announcing the restriction after some tense moments during public protests outside the building this week. Because of the budget, of course. For now, the public is not allowed up on the second floor, which is where the Legislative Assembly actually sits. But the Speaker says this rule is only temporary.
The emotions are high here in the House, and therefore people are allowed downstairs and up in the gallery. I do not, myself and the staff, do not want to impede people being able to enter and watch legislation being made. This is the People's House.
At least one political scientist says the Speaker has to act in the advice of the Sergeant at Arms and not any political party. Barkow says it was she and her staff who made this decision alone. An old tradition continued in Halifax tonight. Some say not a moment too soon.
We come together on this day to lift our collective voices, united in prayer and in action.
Today was the World Day of Prayer, a Christian-led global movement in support of peace and justice. In Halifax, participants gathered at the Cathedral Church of All Saints for an ecumenical service designed this year by the women of Nigeria. The theme this time, I will give you rest. Come. Organizers say this is a powerful tool.
So it's a wave of prayer for peace and justice, and we certainly feel that given the times we're in, that's pretty significant.
The annual wave begins in Samoa with prayers in native languages traveling right around the globe across continents, finishing in American Samoa about 38 hours later. Next year will mark the 100th year for the event. 150 countries are expected to participate in that one. Still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast and celebrating female entrepreneurs ahead of International Women's Day coming up this weekend. Coming up next, though, absorbing the season.
We're still hopeful for a lot of rain this spring.
Will the melting snow finally wash away the drought problems from last year? We'll look for answers when CTV News at 11:30 continues. Hope to see you on the other side.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Aaron and Peter's payroll is back, and it's the easiest job you'll ever have.
Register now at move100halifax.ca and then listen for your name Monday at 8.
Okay, so warmer temperatures in the forecast, and spring is visible there on the calendar. A lot of folks will not be sorry to see the end of what has really been an old-fashioned winter around here with a lot of snow. But the question is, was it enough to restore the water levels, or will some of us face another summer of drought? CTV's Hafsa Arif looked into it today.
Snow blankets forests, piling along shorelines, and building a deep snowpack across much of the region.
We have received about 221 centimeters of snow. The average is about 177 centimeters for sort of the snowy season. So we're sitting at about a foot and a half more than that average rate now.
But beyond sore arms and icy mornings, that deep snowpack could carry some important benefits when spring arrives, which the Maritime desperately needs after seeing water shortages and raised wildfire concerns in the warmer months.
With a bit more of a snowpack built up, it should linger a little bit later into the spring season before it completely disappears. So we do get that more gradual, sort of slower release of moisture into some of the water systems in and around the Maritimes.
But whether that meltwater fully replenishes reservoirs and groundwater is still uncertain. The real picture won't become clear until later in the spring, once the snow disappears and the runoff flows into lakes and reservoirs.
Around April and May when the snow goes away, but we're still hopeful for a lot of rain this spring and this summer. We continue to have historic low levels again like last summer. The lake levels will obviously continue to drop.
Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Hafsa. Time for a quick little break, but when we return, your complete maritime weather forecast. You saw Kaylin there a second ago. He's putting the final details on what to expect this weekend. We think you're going to like it. Stay with us. Back right after this. Friday night, 6th day of March, and not a bad day today. A little bit on the cool side, but it was nice to see the sunshine for sure.
It was, and we're going to kind of trade off the sun for some cloudier conditions and some wet weather this weekend, but also a rise in temperatures, so a little bit of a trade-off there. This was a sprawling low-pressure system that's developing right now, making its way out of the Great Lakes. Now, because temperatures are still cold tonight, though, initially when this arrives tomorrow morning around the northwest of New Brunswick, there is a risk of some freezing rain with it, and there's some freezing freezing rain warnings in effect. It could be 3 to 6 hours of light freezing rain tomorrow morning. It is enough that it could make for some slippery surfaces. Think about parts of the roads, sidewalks, walking paths, parking lots, that type of thing. As for the timing of that, the freezing rain is expected to arrive very early in the morning hours of Saturday. The risk will be highest in the morning, and with temperatures rising to get above zero into and through the afternoon. Now, Saturday afternoon around other parts of the Maritimes is going to be on the cloudier side, and there's going to be some areas of some showers. There'll be also some patchy drizzle and fog present, and similar weather conditions expected making our way through Saturday evening. And then Saturday night, there'll be a band of rain that crosses the Maritimes northwest to southeast. It does slow down and stall out a little bit around Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia on Sunday, which is why for that day on the weekend, it is some light rain, some drizzle, some fog in the forecast, and there will likely still be a few rounds of showers that pass through parts of New Brunswick. Now, winds in the forecast for tomorrow become southwest. They pick up for the afternoon, blustery, with some gusts between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour. I mentioned when we were talking about that freezing rain that temperatures for tonight are still colder in a lot of cases between -4 and -9, and even colder than that around eastern areas of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and the north and east of Nova Scotia, where some lows will fall between -10 and -14. In the forecast for tomorrow, though, late in the day, communities in the north of New Brunswick can expect temperatures to get up between 4 and 6 degrees. And in central and southern parts of that province late in the day, temperatures between 4 and 7. Likewise, Prince Edward Island, Saturday afternoon, will get above the freezing mark. Late day temperatures between 2 and 5 degrees. For eastern areas of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton, the north shore and eastern shore of the province, highs between 4 and 7. For northern and central areas of Nova Scotia, late day temperatures climbing up towards the mid-single digits, a little bit milder than that even for parts of the southwest of Nova Scotia, including the Annapolis Valley, temperatures near 9 degrees, and on the south shore of Nova Scotia around 5 or 6. And for a lot of communities, temperatures can probably rise a few more degrees Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So taking a look at the extended forecast for New Brunswick, temperatures even a little bit milder during the day on Sunday. Some showers to move through. Clocks going forward, of course. It's a mix of sun and cloud for Monday and Tuesday. Both of those days, though, with some milder temperatures. An icy mix of weather is possible on Wednesday of next week. So snow possible on Thursday as temperatures get a little bit chillier. And then Friday, mix of sun and cloud. For Nova Scotia in the outlook, clocks go forward on Sunday. It's light rain and drizzle in the forecast. A mix of sun and cloud for Monday and Tuesday with high temperatures in the low teens. An icy mix of weather possible Wednesday night into Thursday. That could be a mixture of ice pellets, freezing rain, and rain. And then a mix of sun and cloud for Friday. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast through the weekend, temperatures rise, but there is some soggy weather in the form of some light rain and some drizzle. A mix of sun and cloud for Monday and Tuesday of next week with milder temperatures, but then temperatures that cool off Wednesday into Thursday. The potential for a mixture of some ice pellets, freezing rain, and rain between those 2 days. Friday, a mix of sun and cloud, a little bit chillier. Bruce.
And as you told us earlier, the water shall be running with those the rain and the warmer temperatures.
Yeah, snow melt will be on.
For sure. All right, thank you, my friend. Wake up weather still to come. Stay with us. Be right back.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Hundreds of female entrepreneurs and leaders coming together today to celebrate the achievements in business. CTV's Vanessa Wright shows us ahead of International Women's Day coming up on Sunday. This was also an opportunity to recognize trailblazers and the importance of raising other women up.
It was amazing. I was nervous at first coming, but I felt good afterwards.
The sold-out event brought 450 women to Halifax. This year's theme is Give to Gain.
Women don't get the credit or the notoriety that they deserve. They may be small business, but they still give back to the economy. You know, they give back to their communities. They're raising families. And so it's so important to make sure that people are aware of the impact that women business owners have right here in Nova Scotia.
I was here last year as a vendor and then got offered back this year to speak. I jumped on it because I told myself I was going to come out of my comfort zone this year, and this was the opportunity to do so.
Many shared stories of breaking down barriers, something business owner Fatou Kaba knows a thing or two about. She was the first of over 20 siblings to attend college and earn a master's degree.
I have every reason to be here because this is all about empowering women, creating a community where we support each other, we show up for each other, and we just like celebrate the power of being women.
Princess Octavius owns a beauty store in Halifax, which she says wouldn't be possible without the help of women in this room.
Especially as a black woman in a new province, starting my business at the time, I had no one to turn to.
Ahead of International Women's Day, she has a message for women looking to take on a similar journey. Vanessa Wright, CTV News.
Thank you, Vanessa. Time for one final break on this Friday night. Coming up, you'll meet the 10-year-old author with a new book and 4 more on the way. First, though, your wake-up weather. A live look at the Armdale Roundabout in Halifax. Just about midnight and -4. Stay with us. Back with Kaylin right after this. Okay, Saturday morning, 7th day of March right now. Let's kick it off with a look at the wake-up weather. And Kaylin, it's going to be kind of a warm one today.
Yeah, well, it starts off on the chilly to cold side still. So first thing, Saturday morning, most temperatures in the Maritime still a few to several degrees below zero. And that's going to give that risk, again, of some freezing rain up around the northwest of New Brunswick. But temperatures, like Bruce mentioned, rise through the day. So moving into and through the afternoon, they get up to the plus side of the scale. Late day temperatures around the mid to high single digits for some areas. And in a lot of cases, temperatures will continue to rise Saturday night into Sunday morning, even though there is going to be some rain, drizzle, and fog to move through. Bruce.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good weekend. Well, most New Brunswick students spent the last week taking time away from the books. But as CTV's Avery McRae tells us tonight, the 10-year-old that you're about to meet spent his March break reading books and writing them, too.
Richard Akindaji is like most 10-year-olds. He loves sports and spending time with his friends, but unlike his classmates, Richard is a published author. His short story, Navigating Through Life, Frill's story, is about growing up in Fredericton and facing challenges with his best friend.
They had smooth sailing until some issues happened emotionally with family. So when that happens, they have to get each other's trust back and friendship back, and they even get special missions.
He says the inspiration for the story came from his father, friend Felix, and former teacher, Madame Boyce. The 27-page tale is not a one-off. Richard is working on part 2 and has plans for more stories. Richard's first book is available on Amazon in paperback, hardcover, and for e-readers. And he is working on getting his story into local outlets too, like Indigo. As for the takeaways the author hopes people remember from his book:
responsibility, friendship, how to be strong. The main thing is that when life throws struggles at you, you can't do anything about it. The only thing you can do is how you react to it.
Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
That's an amazing kid. Okay, that is your late news for tonight, and that's it for this week, as a matter of fact. If you joined us late, you'd like another look at any of our stories and a whole lot more, feel free to visit us online, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It's your home for news and updates all weekend long. I'm Bruce Frisco. We're going to leave you tonight with the names of all of us here at Bell Media. Have yourself a good night and a great weekend. And we hope to see you again on Monday.